question of what it means to be a visionary board is one that I think all good boards are asking themselves.
Well, the dynamic of a great visionary board is a board that has a lot of flow.
Really, there is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to good governance practices, but there are common elements that all good boards share.
I think a truly visionary board needs to consider the interests of all its stakeholders. And by this I don't mean it shouldn't consider the interest of the shareholder. It just means that it needs to have a balancing viewpoint.
When I think about the term visionary boards, I think about where we're going to take our company in 5 to 10 years and how we are going to start thinking about it differently.
What I call corporate or strategic blind spots are any trends, abrupt shifts into consumer behavior, technologies, untraditional competitors who are just around the corner and are just about to destroy or enhance someone's business model. So the responsibility of a board of directors is to enable management who on a day-to-day doesn't have the time to necessarily look at the periphery of their industry to be able to spot those opportunities or those likely threats.
Visionary boards require strategic thinking. To achieve this, it's very important for the board members to think conceptually, imaginatively, systematically, and perhaps opportunistically.
So diversity, I think, is a given, and we still have a way to go before we finish that journey. But we do then need to look at other skill sets that might be useful in a more progressive way. So it may well be that companies really require the input from people in their distribution network or people in their suppliers network who understand what their part of the business model chain entails. And it may be that we need different sets of skills depending on what the disruptive pressures might be to your business model. And so you might need to look outside the industry that you're involved in, or outside the classical finance, legal, accounting skills to a different set of skills which are very relevant to the changes that are occurring this century.
Well, the role of the independent chairman or the lead independent director is critical. And when I say that, I mean it is really important for that lead independent director chairman to always look at what's happening in the room, to make sure everybody's talking, to make sure that all opinions are expressed, and to make sure that that flow happens. But at the end of the day, that lead independent director chairman really has to make sure that things come back together so that management walks away with some useful information. And that isn't always easy. So I guess I would say that person has to have a high degree of emotional intelligence, a high degree of respect, but also a high ability to synthesize what's being said.
I think the responsibility for making sure that you've got kind of the right people in the room and the right level of diversity and kind of the right kind of tone and culture really is something that's owned by every director.
As we travel around the world, meeting with WCD chapters and speaking about our book, Women on Board, we found that women directors don't just want to be a member of a board, they want to accelerate corporate governance globally. They want to help a team to make their boards visionary. With KPMG's help, the Thought Leadership Report provides directors anywhere around the world with best practices, checklists, and case studies so we can all work together to accelerate corporate governance globally.